Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Coins Reaction Zone and another Scooby-Doo reaction. So this is going to be the last 3 episodes of season 1 of the new Scooby-Doo movies. But first, episode 13, I rated a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. That one was The Haunted Horseman of Howlthorne Hall. There was no stats for that episode. I'm going to keep it rather short though so I can react to everything. Our property damage for the season, I can't remember if there was door damage last episode, but Scooby's at $900, Shaggy's at $2,500, and Fred's at $50. And then no Scooby snacks eaten pretty much all season. And this episode is going to be episode 39 of the series and episode 14 of this season, called The Phantom of the Country Music Hall, released on December 9th, 1972. So the guest star for this episode is Jerry Reed, who was an American country music singer, guitarist, and songwriter, and who appeared in all 3 Smokey and the Bandit films. So Jerry Reed was born on March 20th, 1937, and he died on September 1st, 2008 at 71. And in the episode, he is the friend of the Scooby Gang. So here we go, getting into the episode. The kids are going to meet their friend Jerry Reed at the Grand Old Country Music Hall, but when they get there, they can't find him. However, they can hear him singing and try to track him down and figure out who wants to keep the hall closed. So this episode takes place in Nashville, Tennessee, which is interesting, a new town and city that they went to, at the Grand Old Country Music Hall, after it reopens after a year of being closed. Unfortunately, Jerry, the Scooby Gang's friend, is kidnapped by the Phantom. Throughout the episode, Jerry sings Pretty Mary Sunlight, which won't be able to listen to because of copyright. We previously heard it in season 2 of Scooby-Doo Where Are You with the episode Don't Fool with the Phantom, and Jerry is most famous for his song When You're Hot, You're Hot. So that's cool. That's just trivia from the wiki. Yeah, then the Grand Old Country Music Hall is a reference to the Grand Old Opry, as well as the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Nashville. Yeah, and then starting the episode, the gang stops at the Andrew Jackson Hotel, where the receptionist tells them that Jerry Reed isn't there. And then the receptionist hands Freddie a note that says, "Come to the Grand Old Country Music Hall. I'm rehearsing there for tomorrow night's show." Upon arriving at the music hall, Scooby finds another note that says, "Jerry Reed, if you try to rehearse tonight, you'll never see tomorrow, the Phantom." So they decided to break into the music hall, and as they do and split up to search for clues, they meet the janitor, Bertha, who wants them to leave. Once the gang is inside, they hear Jerry Reed begin playing, so they go around to follow the music. However, whenever they open the door, they see a large man and that Jerry isn't there, that the music is just a recording. This man is Ben Bing, and he is Jerry's arranger. Ben leads the gang outside and tells them that Jerry's at the local pizza parlor, and that's where they should head off to. And then as they're chomping on pizza, they hear that the National Bank was robbed of $2 million, and after that they head to the Country Music Hall, which is once again locked up. And then as they go around to investigate back into the Country Music Hall, which Ben and Bertha locked them out of, but Velma found a way in, they find a lot of weird stuff, such as living statues of a Viking and Davy Crockett, as Jerry's Pretty Mary Sunlight can be heard through the vents. And that leads them to a room where Jerry's locked up, so Fred's able to knock the door down, giving him some property damage for the episode, so another $100, because that's just how doors are in this show. I'm just always $100, bringing his total up to $150. Jerry explains that he was standing on stage rehearsing when the white lights went out, before finding himself locked inside the room. Now he's telling the gang to head back to the hotel as he continues to rehearse, but Freddie won't. Bertha barges in and tells the gang to get lost, and during that conversation, someone has swiped Jerry's guitar. And then there's like a serious ghost moment where the gang asks about Ben Bling, and Jerry says that he's never heard of him, nor does he have an arranger, because he does all of his own stuff. That's when everybody splits up to look for Jerry's guitar, and multiple hijinks and ensue, and we also discover that Bertha has the guitar and Velma and Jerry get it from her.
You know something, Scooby? We must be out of our minds.
Alright, it's trap time. Velma's the one setting up the trap this time for this episode.
Now the idea is, when they come up the ramp and step in the loops of the rope, Fred will release the sandbags and they'll be hauled up by their heels.
Well, all right, but just be careful now. Don't catch Scooby or Shaggy or Fred.
At least he actually mentions it, because whenever they set traps, they never care about catching Scooby and Shaggy and Fred. Also, Davy Crockett and the Viking has to be Ben and Bertha.
But what do you know, Scooby? The xylophone. And Jerry guitar. How about that? Give me that.
Here we go. Time to capture them. They're really going fast on that xylophone, though. Nice. Good maneuver right there. Slammed him against the trapdoor too. But at least he got his guitar back. That's good. Easy peasy.
That's not a Viking. It's Ben Bing.
No, and that ain't David Crockett. That's
Wow, they unmasked them real quick.
The Phantom. Look, Feedback, the same name that is on Ben Bing's license plate.
Oh, okay.
Hold everything, gang. That just might not be a name. It just might be letters. like the ones on the xylophone.
Young man, that's my property. And we'll sue if
So
it's
Bertha was a
returned.
double disguise. So FEBAG. Nice. There's the bank money.
Clever scheme, all right. And they'd have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you.
Actually, if it wasn't for Jerry, he was going to open the music hall a week before the Phantom expected him.
Imagine, they spent almost a year digging that tunnel under the bank.
Yeah, that must have been sucky, waiting a year for that.
I think we'll have to beg off, Jer. If I don't get something to eat, I'll just pass out.
Yeah, pass out.
Nice.
Y'all go get something to eat. But don't forget, now, tomorrow to be my guest. I'm going to have you the best seats in the house, right up front. That's the
They ended this episode real quick. Probably to show the ending, yeah.
Pretty Mary Sunlight, she's all right with me. Pretty Mary Sunlight, she's everything I need.
I like it. Their animation's kind of weird, though.
She turns each night to day.
Good song, though.
Pretty Mary Sunlight, never go away.
When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Alright, and that was the Phantom of the Country Music Hall. So just straight off the bat, I'll probably rate this one a 5.5 out of 10. I enjoyed the ending. I felt like, though, that Ben and Bertha were a lot scarier as just their normal selves. I think it's one of the first times where a suspect that says they're connected wasn't actually connected. Because usually it's like, oh no, he's a farmer. He works on my land and all that other stuff. But first time, like, somebody's claimed something that hasn't been true. And also Bertha being a double costume. I just feel like the Viking villain and Davy Crockett were just very dumb, like unfortunate, like very kind of middle of the road for me. I think Jerry Reed was a pretty fun guest star. He was not around for a lot because, as you know, he was captured. So just the gang kind of driving around the mystery machine or eating pizza, which was fun to see. Kind of reminds me of Cyber Chase or other movies or shows of that nature for Scooby-Doo. So that was kind of fun, but the villain sucked. Jerry was only around for like the last 10 minutes. But his singing was pretty fun. I liked his kind of demeanor about the gang and that, I wouldn't say they're jokes, but cracking little like, make sure they don't get captured because I guess he knows about their history and things like that, which was pretty fun. But I really did enjoy that how they used the music hall as kind of, because music halls constantly have like trapdoors and there's, whenever you see kind of like a detective show that always takes place in a music hall. One example that comes to mind is Psych and other shows of that nature where you slam your foot down on it and it drops down. So there's that kind of nuance. So there's constant trapdoors and props and things of that nature that I feel like they really suited well by taking place inside the music hall pretty much in its entirety, besides whenever they went to go get pizza and stuff. And it didn't feel too padded, but it definitely is affected by the long runtime. I think it would have been good as condensed down, maybe 30-minute episode, not like actually 21, but 30 minutes I feel like would have made it pretty fun and maybe just tweak the villain slightly to maybe be the only villains that don't actually try to dress up. Would have been a lot scarier and a lot more fun, especially because they weren't technically phantoms. It was just a Viking and Davy Crockett. Like, that's not really a phantom. It was just kind of the betrayal of phantoms because a lot of spookiness was happening. Bank robber backstory was kind of interesting, and using a license plate as the code seems kind of dumb of why that would even be a thing, but the gang had to figure out somehow. So Shaggy taking notice of the license plate was a good shout. As the code to get into the bank money that they were digging for a year was an interesting one. But overall, not too bad of an episode, not too good. That's why it's a 5.5 for me. Property damage, Fred broke down a door, adding $100 to his total, bringing his total up to $150. So that's not bad at all. But no Scooby Snacks eating no weird food because all they had was pizza this episode. So nothing really that crazy. So I think that's going to do it for me. Going to keep it rather short today as we get through the last of the new Scooby-Doo movies. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.